Welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here. This message today is more for dads than it is for moms. Now, it 100% applies to moms, but this really speaks more to the heart of dads. And if you're like me, most dads feel like they are not spending enough time with their kids. And I've been pretty intentional about raising my kids, but I've always felt like I still wasn't spending enough time with them. And it's ironic because actually since 2002, the average time the dads are spending with their kids is up by like an hour. So right now, the average for a college educated man is about 7 to 8 hours a week that they're spending with their kids. But the problem is, and this was my problem, I was with my kids a lot, but I wasn't engaged with my kids. And there's a different type of time. One is sitting in a room while they're playing, and the other one is actually engaging with them. When it comes to engaged time, the average for a college educated man is 4.2 hours a week. And for people without a college education, it's 2.6 hours a week. And if you break that down between, say, let's say you have 3 kids, that comes out to about 8 minutes a day or 11 minutes a day, depending on which category you fall into. Now, I think there's a lot of reasons for this. I think a lot of dads work really hard. I think a lot of kids are really busy, but it doesn't change the fact that we kind of have a feeling it's like, I'm not spending as much time with my kids as I'd like to. But I want to tell you, there is a really, really large return on investment that you can get, and it doesn't take a whole lot more time. It just takes the time that you're already spending and it switches it to make it more engaged. And if you're able to engage with your child and establish a sense of closeness with them, your child is going to be 80% less likely to go to jail, 33% less likely to drop out of college, and they're 43% more likely to have mostly A's in school just because they feel a closeness to you. And that's all that it really takes, is that establishing a feeling of closeness. And I'm only talking about academics. If you have a closeness with your child, depression, suicide, drugs, antisocial behavior, sexual behavior, all of that stuff drops off significantly. And it's just by being close. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about how you increase closeness, and sticking with the theme that we've had about helping our kids with education, how you can also help them in their schoolwork. So what I would like to do is to give you a couple of easy tips that are going to help your child specifically with just their academics. And the reason I'm choosing academics, there's a lot of material on how to connect with your kids. So that's already been done. But here's a couple ideas, because if you're like I was, and we homeschooled, so I was home a lot, but I still didn't really know what my kids were going over, what they were learning in school. So here's some ideas, and this will work for anybody, no matter if they're public school, high school, college. You can do all of this with all your kids. First off, if they have an essay, you just ask them to read the essay. It's not going to take you long. And you can also ask them to read it to you out loud, which gives them some public speaking experience. And now you're connecting with your kid. You get a chance to give them some feedback. You know what they're learning, and you can compliment them on their hard work. Another one, if they're taking Spanish, just ask them, tell me what you're learning about Spanish. Like, what words do you know? Can you say sentences? What do they mean? How hard is it? Those kind of questions. Some genuine, interesting questions that show that you're engaged with them. Now, here's a little harder one, and it was for me because I was a liberal arts music major, so I never took things like calculus or chemistry, but my kids did. So I would ask them questions about chemistry just for my own interest so that I could learn a little bit about it, and I'd ask them to explain to me, well, what have you learned? And pretend I'm one of the kids in your class and you're helping me out, like I don't quite get it. Explain to me how you would actually do this, or why you've come into problems and how you can solve them. History and literature are easy. They're studying the Civil War. Hey, tell me all about the Civil War. Tell me what you learned. They're studying about the Greeks. Tell me about what was Greek culture like? What were they like as warriors? What was their philosophy or their music like back then? And then literature, that's the easiest one of all. If your kid is reading, say, The Hound of the Baskervilles, you just ask them, hey, little Johnny or little Susie, would you tell me what's going on in the story? Because I want to know the whole Hound of the Baskervilles, but I'm not going to read it. I want you to tell me the story as we go through. Now, these are, what was that? That was 5. Simple things to do. Just shows a little bit of engagement and a little bit of curiosity. But you can see that is going to grow your relationship with your child far more than you sitting on your laptop and your kids playing in the living room. So let's wrap this up. I want to keep it short because I know you're busy, Dad. Dad, I want you to know this. The evidence is unequivocal. You bring something to your family that is unique. It's profound what you bring. It has a unique impact and it is distinct. It's irreplaceable. And you can do that. Now, let me take a brief aside. I want to talk to single moms here just for a sec. Single moms, your children can still thrive. So I don't want you to worry about this. And I'll probably do some videos on this later. But right now, what we're talking about is to the dads. And it is easiest if it's a mom and a dad because two people make the work lighter, right? But Dad, your impact is profound. And if you focus that intentional time into different areas as opposed to just being in the room, the impact you can have will be tremendous. And it impacts your child all the way into adult life. So Dad, I hope you'll take a little bit of time this week, spend some time with your kids, and be focused and intentional with them. See you guys in the next video.